Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. Well, look at just like our friends and tassels. I'm a useful idiot. And today I want to talk about Iraq. And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent because right now most of the discussion is of the continued and horrific violence, the worst we've seen in Iraq in 5 years, and this unfolding relapse into what appears to be a civil war. And for those who want to catch up on that topic, I did a video a couple months ago, actually quite a few months ago. I'm talking about that very idea of Iraq relapsing into a civil war. So I'll attach that below. But what I want to talk about today is executions, because there was a story earlier in October about Iraq, the Iraqi government executing 42 prisoners in one day, or actually 2 days. And this was back on October 10th. And as it turns out, Iraq has been executing a fairly large number of people, and it continues to escalate. In 2011, they killed or executed 68 people, and in 2012, they executed 129. So here we are in 2013, and they've already executed 42 people just in a 2-day period. So they're going to break all previous records. And one of the other disturbing aspects of this is once again, a country that ostensibly is somewhat of a vassal state of the United States, and yet we have this level of execution, and there are people who are, their testimony is obtained by torture. So not necessarily a big change from the Saddam Hussein government in many respects. And one of the ironies of this situation, of course, is that the Iraqi government is convicting these people of charges of terrorism. So just like everywhere else, if there's an inconvenient factor or element in your society, you just label them terrorists. So if they're freedom fighters, local insurgents of any type, religious zealots, criminals, whatever, you just call them terrorists. And so ironically, Iraq is indulging that same behavior. But then I looked up some other information to find out just where Iraq places as far as world executions. And as it turns out, there's an interesting list of which the U.S. is part of worldwide executions, state executions. And Iraq is now number 4. So that's quite an interesting reflection on the United States after our efforts over a decade to bring some semblance of democracy and civilization to a reconstructed Iraq. And yet we find that they are number 4 in the list of executions worldwide. And I would imagine with all the chaos and the problems they would have in their judicial system for anyone to get any real justice, it's quite treacherous that they're so assured of this flawed judicial system and this near failed state that people are executed. But anyway, let's get back to this world list. So it's confirmed that worldwide there was only 682 executions worldwide in 2012. And that's only confirmed, of course. And there's some states like Syria where obviously it's hard to get a number. But let's look at the official state executions for crimes. And China is number 1. But there's no real available numbers, as you would imagine, but they assume it's in the thousands. And just recently they executed well over a dozen people for what was called the Mekong Massacre, a Myanmar drug gang, and 13 Chinese sailors were killed. So anyway, that was the most recent. But before people jump to conclusions and want to judge China, let's also remember the ratio of executions to the size of their population. The U.S. has 300 million people, and the United States executed 43 people in 2012, and China in the thousands. So that would be comparable to the ratio of their population. But I don't want to excuse the fact that China's a lot stricter and uses capital punishment more liberally, including economic crimes and banker crimes and fraud. People are executed. So it's a whole different situation. But let's get back to this list. So in 2012, this is the kind of company that Iraq is number 4 on, and this is the kind of company the United States keeps. So the top countries for state execution are China, the United States, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Sudan. So pretty good company. And the other thing that's striking about that list is that other than Iran and China, the other countries on that list, of course, are all U.S. allies of one sort or another. Iraq, especially Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Sudan. And Saudi Arabia is one of the worst offenders. They executed 79 people in 2012, including a Sri Lankan woman who was a housekeeper who was blamed for the death of the son of the man who employed her, and she was beheaded, which was the preferred execution method in Saudi Arabia. In fact, the 4 styles used in most of these countries are beheading, hanging, firing squad, and lethal injection. So in China we have thousands. In the U.S., 43 people were executed. In Iran, 314 people killed. In Iraq, 129 people killed. In Saudi Arabia, 79 people killed. In Yemen, 28 people killed. In Sudan, 19 people killed. So these are, like I say, state executions. And one of the other things that's notable about Saudi Arabia is that recently one of the victims, criminals or what have you, that was beheaded, was then publicly crucified and displayed in public. So that's a good close ally in Saudi Arabia, the United States. Saudi Arabia, who takes their criminals and beheads them in public and then displays them in a crucifixion. So good friends like that. And apparently Japan and India have recently resumed the death penalty, but I don't have any figures on those countries right now. Worldwide, we have 23,386 people on death row, but of course a lot of countries, particularly like the U.S., have a very slow rate of bringing these people to execution day. So anyway, there we have it. We have a look at Iraq, which has executed 68 people in 2011, 129 people in 2012, and is poised to surpass that in 2013 with the execution of 42 prisoners earlier this October. And like I say, it places them on a very dubious list, with China, the United States, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Sudan being the state leaders in state executions. And 682 is a fairly small number, to be sure, but it's a dubious practice, and a debate for another day, as I would say. Although in the scheme of things, it seems like a moot point, because there's so many other methods of state execution, for example, drone strikes. So we could add that to the list. And then 500 people killed, innocent people killed a year in the United States by police, which is another form of execution. And then, of course, civilians killed in war zones all across the globe, and certainly being slaughtered by the thousands in places like Syria and all over North Africa. So state executions in themselves are relative, but it says a lot about a particular state, and to be on this list is a dubious honor, to be sure. So not only is the United States on this list, but our new developing democracy that the United States is supposedly nurturing in Iraq is one of the leading countries in the world in executing people. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.